What is up, guys? My name is Tyler Glass. I want to jump on here and provide some value for you guys on a full recap of ATP and what exactly you can expect if you decide to attend ATP flight school. So starting at the beginning. When I first started, I didn't really know where I wanted to go. I knew that ATP could get me done really fast in exactly about 9 months, and I thought that was the best option for me at the time. So what I did is I picked up the phone and I called ATP and I just said, well, actually, I asked a ton of questions, obviously, and I expect you guys, I would encourage you guys to do the same thing. Just ask any questions you have that you can't find from, other research or people. But anyway, so I called them and I just asked what location would be the best location. They gave me a few options. They were, the first one was Arizona, number one, because it's the biggest location. It's probably the most complicated airport that they have. One of the most complicated airports they have at ATP, and the weather is fantastic. I never had a single problem flying the 9 months that I was there, and so you can get done, obviously, much faster. So I just called and I asked what's the best location. I picked that location, and then so from there, what you can expect. You can expect them to send you a big box with books, some swag, backpack, certain things like that. I have another video on what they don't send you and what you might expect, so check that out if you're interested. But yeah, so you're gonna get that box. You're also gonna get charged $1,000, and that deposit comes back to you if you actually attend ATP. So you get charged $1,000. You attend, you get the money back. If you don't attend, you don't get the money back. So I would encourage you to make the decision final when you actually call them and pick to attend the school. So now I want to get into, you're going to flight school, you pick your location, you got all the stuff, you're ready to go, and either you're close or you travel across country like I did. So now you go to your first day. The other thing that I did not like about my first day at ATP is that there was really no communication. I drove across the country and I didn't really know what was going on. I could have called them, and I encourage you guys to do that if you decide to go to ATP, but I did not, and I just showed up to when they told me to, and it was just really unorganized, and I gave him my documents, etc., and he said, you'll be hearing from your flight instructor eventually. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? 2 hours, 2 weeks, what does it mean? So I actually didn't even start on my first day. I was scheduled for January 20th, and I didn't start, I believe, until the 23rd of January. And so that was a little off to me. It's kind of discouraging when you drive across country and things are unorganized. Anyways, but then once I actually got started, I met my flight instructor, and things took off, and it was really great from that point. So that's your first day. Hopefully it's not the same experience for you guys. Hopefully it's a little more organized, and I'm optimistic that it is now. So now that your first day is done, what you can expect now that you have a flight instructor. So first things first, now that you have a flight instructor, they will schedule all of your flights and all of your grounds. So you will fly at least 3 times a week, because that's what ATP's minimum is, and that's what you can expect, is 3 times a week you are flying. They also will schedule grounds, which grounds are your flight instructor teaching you certain things, whatever they want to cover. It could be, whatever they want to cover and whatever stage you're in. Depending on your flight instructor, you might get more grounds or less grounds. And that kind of leads me into my next point, is if you get an instructor that you don't like, you don't get along with, they aren't that good, etc., get a new one. Go talk to ATP, call them, go to the front desk, whatever you have to do, and just say, hey, I don't like my flight instructor. I'm paying a lot of money to get good school, and so I expect that. And they will give you a new flight instructor. So just don't let your training, be bad because you were discouraged by your flight instructor or didn't get a new one. Okay? So like I said, they'll schedule your flights and your grounds. When I first started at ATP, there was in-classroom grounds for every student. So when your flight instructor schedules your grounds, it'll be one-on-one. But there was also grounds Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday that covered private stage, instrument stage, and commercial stage, which were optional to go to. And it was like a classroom setting and an instructor was teaching it. This stopped when the coronavirus hit in March, and hasn't picked up since. But I'm sure once there's a vaccine and everything kind of squares away, that will start over again, and that was really great. So yes, that is kind of the day-to-day, honestly. You come in whenever your flight is scheduled, you pre-flight the plane. You obviously have to wear a mask inside the building. You do not have to wear one in the plane if you choose not to. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. And then you obviously go fly. Whatever your flight instructor chooses is what you're going to do that day. You can obviously talk to them and say, I want to work on this or this, but it is totally up to you. And then, so during your private stage, you don't really have any simulator time. So your private stage is going to take approximately 2 months, 2 to 3 months. It all depends. Mine took 2. I've heard from other people taking up to 3.5 or 4. So it just kind of depends on kind of how fast your flight instructor moves and if you are grasping the material. After 2 to 4 months, you will take a check ride. And a check ride basically is just a pilot examiner. It will come and check you off and give you your cert or not. You either pass or fail. After your private stage, you get into instrument. So instrument is, you'll use a lot more simulator time. So simulators are obviously in the buildings and they're simulating flight. So instead of actually going to fly, you're going to do a simulated flight with your flight instructor, and you just kind of go over certain things. Same thing applies. Your flight instructor is picking if you're simulating, if you're flying, when you're doing your grounds, etc. And you can kind of work that out with them, but do not expect a perfect schedule. After your instrument, same thing, you'll get your check ride, etc., pass or fail. Now you'll go into crew. Crew isn't actually a rating you're gonna get, it's just to build time. Basically, you and another pilot, and it could be from any ATP location across the country, and you guys will fly around the country. Not necessarily around the country, but you could go. So I was in Arizona, I flew up to Northern California, Southern California, I flew pretty much all over Arizona, and so you can expect to do that. Now you don't have an instructor, you just are flying with another guy. So basically, it's on you two now. You two make the decisions, and anything that happens falls on you. So at this point, you are a pretty good pilot, and this only makes you a better pilot because now you're not relying on anybody else besides yourself and this other person that knows exactly the same thing you do or should, okay? Crew could take anywhere from 2 weeks to a month, and after that, you have your commercial stage. For your commercial stage, you need 250 hours, and so that's why you do crew. So you have at least, so you need 250 hours, of which 50 can be simulated, in which you do in your instrument stage. So now you're in commercial. This takes about a month and a half. Again, it all depends. I'm just working off the numbers that I did. So a month and a half, and again, you'll do your check ride in a month and a half, pass or fail. After your commercial stage, you do your commercial multi-engine. So this is just an add-on rating. You're already a commercially rated pilot, but now you're just getting a multi-engine rating on top of it. So this only takes like 2 weeks. You have to learn a couple extra things. And again, I have a video on all the different ratings and what you can expect on another video in my channel. So if you're interested, check it out. But yeah, so commercial multi only takes 2 weeks. After commercial multi, you have passed all of your pilot ratings, which makes you a commercial pilot. So private, instrument, commercial, and commercial multi. Now you can finally get paid to fly planes. However, at ATP, you go into CFI school, so Certified Flight Instructor. What you can expect here is about a month and a half of really tough schooling and studying. So you go to CFI Academy. Right now it's virtual. It wasn't before, but I actually did it virtual. And you're in a group with people all over the country, about, I would say, 20 to 25 people, and you have an instructor which teaches you classroom stuff. So different things you already know, but you just kind of recap and learn a couple extra things. And this is Monday through Friday for 2 weeks. And mine was 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. and it kind of just depends wherever you are all over the country. After the 2-week program, CFI Academy, then you start flying and training for your check ride. So now you don't have any grounds anymore. Now you just have your flying portion of CFI Academy. So after about a month and a half, and this could depend on locations and a number of things, but it took me a month and a half, and then you take your check ride and you pass or fail and then move on. After your CFI, you go into your CFII. This is just, now you can train instrument students. So certified flight instructor for instrument. And this only was a week for me, which is mind-blowing. So I studied a lot during that week because you do like 3 grounds with your instructor, and you also do flights. I only had 2 flights, and I think I had 3 grounds. And then after a week, I went and took my CFII check ride. Again, if you aren't ready, you can tell ATP and they will postpone it. But it's just good to be ready because it's a really fast program and it's kind of expected that you're ready. After your CFII, now you go into your MEI. Your MEI is multi-engine instructor. This took me 2 weeks. So, it took me 2 weeks, and now you are just learning how to teach people in multi-engine airplanes. So you just kind of do the same things you did for commercial multi, but now you have to understand how to actually teach them. So you have to have the knowledge at a higher level. Okay, so that is all of the ratings, and what they say ATP is from 0 to hero. So 0 time to all of your ratings in 9 months. It's really fast. There's a lot of studying on your own because your instructor will schedule grounds, but everything else is self-study. So your instructor will be like, hey, study this, and then you'll go home and study this, and probably even more to be at a level that you need to be at. Okay, so that's all of your ratings. After that, ATP guaranteed jobs to students. They currently stopped that, but I think that they'll pick it up because it's a really big, it's a good thing that ATP does that because that's why they get a lot of students. Because if you're guaranteed a job, that's a big plus. That's a big reason why I went to ATP. So after ATP, when you get your guaranteed job, it takes about 2 weeks for them to reach out. Again, it wasn't great communication, but it wasn't horrible. So they reached out to me and they said, hey, you can expect an email at this time. And so I got that email when they said I'd get it. And basically what it says is you have a week to pick out of these locations. So you don't really get to pick where you want to go. Like if I wanted to go to California, I couldn't just say I want to go to California. But if California is in this list, I can go there. So you have a week to decide out of a list where you want to go. Once you pick that list, you cannot change your mind until you actually get there, and then you have a transfer option where you can then transfer to somebody else. ATP's pay structure isn't amazing, and if you watch other YouTube videos, you will definitely see the same thing. And if you want me to get into the pay structure, I will. Just comment below. But yeah, so that's the full recap of ATP from 0 time to all the time, and then life afterwards. If you have any questions, please let me know below. You can also drop my Instagram on here, and you can DM me individually if you have just some questions that you don't want to put in the comments. I am happy to answer and happy to help. If you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you guys.